Okay, so we have a new George Clooney film that has hit Prime Video. It is The Boys in the Boat. Right, so yeah, Clooney directs, and the screenplay is from Mark L. Smith. The producers on this one are George Clooney and Grant Heslov. It is executive produced by Kevin Ulrich, Peter Olateguri, Barbara A. Hall, and Gary Barber. And Lee Grummett co-produces. Alexandra Desplat handled the music. Martin Roux, cinematography. Tanya M. Swirling edits a piece, while Rachel Tenner took care of the casting. Kanil, Kal, ooh, Kalina Ivanov was on production design, while Alice Sutton, Kane Silks, Aziz Mahand, Simon Marzi, and Claire Fleming took care of the art direction. Set decoration is Judy Farr, and Jenny Egan was on costume design. Okay, so our cast. Well, Coach Al Alberkson is played by Joel Edrington. His wife, Hazel, is played by Courtney Hengler. We have got George Poycock, played by Peter Guinness. Joe Rance is Callum Turner. Roger Morris is played by Sam Strike. Chuck Day is played by Thomas Elms. Don Hume, Jack Mulhern. Bobby Mooch, played by Luke Slattery. Shorty Hunt, played by Bruce Herbelin-Earle. Jim McMillan, played by Will Coburn. Johnny White, played by Tom Vari. Gordy Adam, played by Joel Fillmore. Coach Tom Boyles, played by James Wolk. Joyce Simdars, played by Hadley Robinson. We got Royal Brummam by Chris Diamopoulos. Coach Kai Everett, played by Glenn Ragg. Benjamin Billings, Edward Baker Dooley. Jay Ellis, played by Adrian Lucas. Coach Brown, played by Dominic Ting. Harry Rance, Joe's dad, played by Alec Newman. Henrik Pauley, by Andrew Bridgemont. Bo Billings, Jack Staddon. Harvey Love, played by Jacob James Bezick. Jesse Owens, played by Jadea James. Glenn Murray, played by Frankie Fox. Chairman Henry Burke. Sam Douglas. Lumbar Foreman, David Stoller. Joe's grandson, played by Austin Haynes. So, I mean, there's other people, but we'll go with that. Now, this is based on the 2013 book of the same name, right? Which is written by David James Brown. So the gist of the story is this: The Boys in a Boat is a sport drama based on the #1 best-selling book by Damien Van. The film, directed by George Clooney, is about the 1936 University of Washington rowing team that competed for gold at the Summer Olympics in Berlin. This inspirational true story follows a group of underdogs at the height of the Great Depression, as they are thrust into the spotlight and take on elite rivals from around the world. So yeah, there you go. Now, I think what I think is interesting is some comment, right, that Joseph Sutton Holcomb from the Seattle Times, he interviewed Brown, right? He interviewed Daniel James Brown about the book and the writing of the book, right? So Brown, in this interview, emphasized that the reason he spent so much time on the build up to the race was because he thought it's much more meaningful if you know the 9 guys involved on some kind of personal level. And if you knew what the German boys wearing swastikas on their chests represented, that they weren't just another bunch of kids in boats, right? Which I think that says a lot, right? And you might think, why am I going into this? It plays into what I'm going to say about the film. Right. Another thing about the book, right? In the book, there are 2 backstories. It says one illustrates how all 9 members of the Washington team came from lower middle class families and had to struggle to earn their way through school during the depths of the Depression, along with the chronicle of their victories and defeats in domestic competition. The reader learns the importance of the synchronization of the 8 rowers as they respond to the commands of the coxswain and his communication with the stroke, consisting pace and the sprint to the finish. The second backstory begins with a depiction of Hitler decreeing construction of the spectacular German venues at the games, right? And how they covered up evidence of their harsh and inhumane treatment of the Jews and other minorities, so as to win worldwide applause for the games during the duping the United States Olympic Committee, among others. Now, as I said, that is meaningful because in watching the film, and I'll say this, right? The film looks really nice. It looks really nice. We got some decent camera work going on. You know, the acting is good. I didn't feel any connection until 127 minutes in. That was the first time there was a bit of an emotional pull, right? Now, there was other things going on, right? There was a moment with a card, which, I see what they're trying to do there with that, right? Trying to pull on you, pull on those heartstrings, make you be like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's touching. It just didn't, right? And the 127 minutes, it pulls on you a bit, but you know exactly what's going to come. You know what's happening. So it's not quite what, some other films do. And that's why I brought up the stuff from the book, because in this film, we don't see defeats, we only see wins, right? They only really emphasize on Joe. So you don't really know the background of the other guys. Now, I think there was one other person that in a conversation with Joe's like, oh, I'm like you. I just, if you see me in new clothes, it's because I stole them. Right. I think that might have been Dom, but I don't think it was. But I can't quite remember who it actually was. But all the others, now it's not like you're assuming they're millionaires, they're filthy rich, but you just don't really know anything. Don't really know anything, right? The whole relationship in the film with God. Hazel. No, not not Hazel. That would have been odd. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Al would have had something to say about that one. If that had, yeah, if that had happened, Al would not have been pleased. No, it was gosh, it was with Frick. No, not Frick. Frick wasn't in the film. Oh, what was the name of the frigging girl? Um, Bloody hell. Joyce. Jeez. Yeah, the whole thing with Joyce. And again, it's not that the acting was bad or anything like that. But but why? Right? There was a lot of, remember you had a crush on me. Do you still like me? But it was just like, why does Joyce like Joe? Right? Does Joe like Joyce, or is he just because she likes him? Like, we don't know. There's no kind of connection that's sold to you. Right? For me anyway. I didn't feel. Now, others, you might watch this and go, oh, that was sweet, that was cute. For me, I need to see a little bit more, and it just wasn't there. And as I said, like just the emotions, right? Why were these boys so good? How did they build the chemistry? We get this little bit about the coxman, but what did he do? Right? What's so great about this guy? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. We just know this kid's been brought in. That's it. Why is the junior team so much better than all the others? Don't know. Don't know. And that's to build that emotional connection, right? Be like, I see you. I see you. Right? It's not there. It's not there. They don't do it. And that's what a film like this needs. It needs that heart, because you know what's happening. You know what happens at the end. We know all of this shit. But that doesn't matter, because the story that is told is so impactful. You connect with it. You feel everything. Like, even though you know what's coming, you're like, will it? Will they? Oh my God. That's what you want to be. But you're just not. You're just not. Right? Another thing that's not explained: why change the line of the boat? Why change the line of the boat? Why is that important? To a layman, they will not know this. It's just like, wait, is that boat veering at the other boat? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, you need to explain some of this stuff. Help the viewer. You know what I mean? Help the viewer, people. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. When we get to the Olympics as well, the Jesse Owens stuff, what the fuck was that? What was that? I'm a bit baffled by that, because that felt a little like the TV coverage, and it's just like, ooh, making a big deal only of Jesse, none of the other sprinters or anything like that. Only because the other sprinters weren't shit. You know what I mean? And the fact that America took, I think, first and second, right? So, huh? And then in the tunnel, right? The whole thing in the tunnel. You're just like, shut the fuck up, man. What are we doing here? What was that? It was not necessary. It felt very false to be like, oh yes, this wasn't just a film about white people. We were very conscious about these other matters as well. And it's just like, look, it's a film set in this period of time about these rowers. We don't need to shoehorn in anything else. You understand, you know what the film is going in. You're not expecting, you know, all of this other stuff, right? You're not expecting it. You don't need it. You know what I mean? This isn't politics. This isn't, you know, posturing. This is a story, a true story. So, yeah, it was very weird, the whole Jesse Owens stuff. And maybe it was true. Maybe it was true. But just the way that was handled was very ridiculous. That was very fucking ridiculous. You know, like, yeah, the illness thing. There's a few things that were just a bit. I mean, come on. Because everyone's been ill. Like, everyone's been fucked, right? So, you know what that is. So, we need a little more to explain some of the shit. But yeah, as I said, look, the acting is good. Direction, it looks nice. Cinematography, the music's okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's okay. Like, I didn't need it. I didn't need some of those musical fucking beds, you know, trying to underpin the emotions of certain scenes. I didn't need it, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? I think yeah, just some of the writing could have been sharper, you know, or just explaining certain things. Right now, in the book, right, you get a better explanation about Joe and his family and all of this. And it's the Great Depression, right? So, yeah, America was going through the Depression, but remember that Europe had just been through the First World War. Everyone's still recovering from that. So it's not like all the other people are going to be hench and just, you know? So yeah, the boys in the boat is an odd depiction. It's an odd depiction. It's not a terrible film, but it doesn't hit like you would want this type of film to hit. It's not emotional. It's not emotional. It doesn't stick with you once it's finished. And that's a shame. That's a shame. But it is now available on Prime. So if you have that, you can check it out, you know? So I mean, I'd say, right? We did the next goal wins last week. I'd say they're on the same par, right? You can see what they're trying to do, but they're just not. They're not gonna touch you like Remember the Titans, like Any Given Sunday. They're not those films. You know what I mean? So yeah, there you go, people. The boys in the boat.